Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. This is one of those shows where I can't believe that people always say that SmackDown is better than Raw. If anything, this show was a lot worse than Raw. Not to say that anything on Raw happened that was really significant, but it just always feels like SmackDown is just, it just happens. And it just, everything feels like it happens in slow motion. It happens in a more boring fashion. So we started off with The Miz. He's interviewing Maurice on Miz TV. And, they're kind of just reiterating stuff they already said. Oh, it's a marriage of convenience and all that. And, it's like, I'll give them credit. They want to have a story. They want to have a feud. It's okay. But it's like, what we saw on Talking Smack between Bryan and Miz 2 years ago is a lot different. It's a lot different than what we're getting now. This is not really the story I envisioned. And this is why I always say, whenever you get excited or you see something that has potential, just assume with WWE that they're going to fuck it up in the end, because based on the little shoot promos and the little shoot segment they had on Talking Smack, that was what happens when you let these guys go. But when you give these guys, a point-for-point script and they're supposed to follow these horrible storylines that these, creative writers write for them, you see that it's completely night and day. So Bryan comes out to attack Miz. He gives him a drop kick and accidentally drop kicks him into Maurice. And now, Bryan is acting all concerned and everything. So here's the thing. Okay, I get it. Bryan's the baby face and everything. But, here's Maurice, who's been harassing his wife. Like, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something? They took Bryan, threw him into Brie. And now it's like, oh my God, Maurice got hurt and everything. Like, they're tumbling around at ringside on a Hell in the Cell, and now all of a sudden, like, Maurice, takes a little light bump, and it's supposed to be like, oh my God, oh, she got hit in the stomach. She was, not that, it would be different if she was pregnant, but she's not. They're like, oh, she was pregnant 5 months ago, okay, but she's not pregnant anymore, so why would that be a thing? I'm just like, what? So, of course, it's just a facade, and, Maurice then starts smiling. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is going to be, Miz's chance to get heat now. But then Bryan just counters it and clotheslines the Miz back out, which is basically the same spot we saw on the last episode of SmackDown. So they just completely just, fucked up so many different things in this one segment. They overblew this spot, where like this moment where Maurice, oh, she's injured. It's not like she got seriously injured, like she had some whiplash or something in the corner. No, it's like Miz like went into her, and I'm just like, okay, am I, as the viewer, am I supposed to be like concerned about Maurice? Am I supposed to really sit there and get invested in this phony bullshit? I mean, it's already phony, but it's even more phony the way how it's being produced here. So there is a match now, and I before we get to this, I just have to say, with the Superstar Showdown, do you notice what they're doing? It's the same thing with Evolution. They're making the matches, and then they're doing the storyline. Like, remember, like, back in the day during the Ruthless Aggression era, like, the wrestlers would challenge each other to matches, and then the authority figure would then make them. It's like, so Bryan and Miz are going to have a match at Superstar Showdown, and the winner is going to go on to face the world champion. So, I'm a big fan of that. Finally, we're getting somebody else other than Nakamura, Kevin Owens. And that's the funny thing about AJ Styles' title run. He's only faced really 3 guys, right? Owens, Nakamurphy, and Samoa Joe. I mean, who else over the 10 months he's been champion? These are the only guys that he's wrestled. So this is why his championship run has been so boring, because he's had like 4 matches with each guy at every single pay-per-view that there's been so far. So I'm a fan finally of giving The Miz the belt again. It's been 7 years. I think it's about time. The guy is one of the most consistent on the roster when it comes to portraying his character. I know a lot of people don't like Miz. They think he's a lousy wrestler. But as far as characters go, this is the only guy that really has any sort of character or holds true to himself of who he's trying to portray on TV. Now, you know, I'd like to see Bryan get back in there, but, you know, if I had to choose, even though I'm a big Bryan fan, I am a fan of seeing The Miz get the title back. I think it's about time. I think it would add a great new wave of interest, you know, to have Miz come out there as champion and cut certain promos. But, you know, like I said, once again, you know, just, you know, hold your applause, hold your excitement. Because this is just, you know, we already know how this is going to go. It's like, it'll be good. I'm sure The Miz will do a good job, the best he could possibly do. But when you look at these current storylines, I mean, to have any hope that, you know, Miz's title run is going to go, you know, off without a hitch and it's just going to be, you know, fine and dandy. I mean, you got to be out of your mind. I mean, they're going to probably want to bury this guy. They're going to have a hard time making him look like a reputable champion. You know, kind of like the first time he was champion. They're going to just, you know, drop the ball with it. Cesaro defeated Kofi Kingston. I mean, we're just going around in circles here. I mean, so the bars returned. They haven't won a single match, or they might have won a match like a qualifier or something in the fucking 15,000 tournaments they've had the past few months. I mean, I don't know. Like, it feels like they've had nothing but tag title tournaments for months now. The tag division is just, you know, it's the New Day is their champs for like the 15th time. It's like, oh God, it's like this, the tag title division. It's like they want to have a division. I'll give them that. They make sure every single show that they have a tag, you know, something with the tag titles going on. And they are showing more interest in it. Like, I can remember episodes of Raw where they didn't show the tag champions for like a few months. And so, you know, well, not for a few months. Maybe like for a few weeks they might forget about them, but they would go back to them eventually. Or they'd be defending them on Superstars or some show like that, or Main Event. So they stay consistent, but it's just boring. It's the same 3 teams. If it's not the Bar, then it's Rusev Day, and if it ain't Rusev Day, then it's the Champions of New Day. Who else are who's a tag team on Smack? There are no other tag teams, right? The Bludgeon Brothers, they're down with an injury. And the thing is, how come with Eric Rowan down with an injury, why is Luke Harper not there? Like, why just because Eric Rowan's why can't Luke Harper go on to have a singles run? Why can't he do something? Why can't he still keep the gimmick and just go for a singles title? I mean, are you telling me that, you know, Luke Harper looking the way how he does, that if they don't adjust a few things that he couldn't be like a world title contender? Could you imagine if they booked that match like AJ Styles against Luke Harper and seen how he could overcome him? You know, of course, like I said, once again, in this day and age, to assume that a program like that would go over well is kind of foolish, but I'm just saying it could be interesting and it's an idea, and, you know, you're wasting a talented guy on your roster. A guy that looks the part, a guy who looks dominant, who could, you know, get it done in the ring. You talk about you want good wrestlers. Well, Luke Harper's a great wrestler. I mean, it shows, like, Luke Harper could do almost every single thing that Seth Rollins could do. You want suicide dives? He could do that. I mean, it just shows how simple it is to do a suicide dive, that even a guy as massive as Luke Harper could do one, and sometimes make it even look better than a Seth Rollins. Hey, Brad, don't go dissing my suicide dives. Those things right there are great. They're great. Okay, Seth, you know, I think this is SmackDown. You know, let's take a break here for a moment. I'll get back to you when we do our Raw review next week. Oh no, I'm burning it down even on SmackDown. We're on fire tonight. Okay, Seth, I've already had enough of you and your no-selling on Raw. I could only imagine I have to put up with Corey Graves on SmackDown and Raw. Putting up with you on both shows would be as equally as painful. So... Anyway, tag division sucks. Wasting people, not utilizing wrestlers the right way. It's the same old story. Murphy defeated Rusev. You had Aiden English jumping up on the ring apron saying Rusev crushed. Rusev got confused. And Murphy ended up, getting the win on Rusev. And then after the match, Aiden English attacked Rusev. And, this is probably like a month late. They seemed like they were going to break up, I don't know if we're going to do the Bailey Sasha thing. Oh, I love you, even though I attacked you, So, I don't know if they're going to reverse this, but probably not. The Rusev Day thing has already run its course. Today is Rusev Day. Oh, what's today? Rusev Day. So every day of the week is Rusev. I get the joke. I'm not trying to be a stickler or anything, but it's already run its course. This creative team, they'll come up with a saying and they'll just repeat it 1,000 times every single week without anything being said, around it to make it more interesting or still relevant. But, the story here is just how terrible these announcers are. And it might have been... What was it, my SmackDown review or something? No, it was this is the SmackDown review. What was I talking about when I was saying with Tom Phillips? It probably was in my Raw review. Or my Hell in a Cell review. Whatever review it was, I talked about these announcers. And I said how Michael Cole sounds like he's half asleep. So, this tag team has been together for what? They've been together for almost a year, Rusev Day, right? So, they've been together for a long time. They've had, no tag title run, whatever. They completely dropped the ball, whatever. But they've been together for a while. They've been consistent on TV. So, the first thing that when Aiden English attacks Rusev, what's the first thing that comes out of Tom Phillips' mouth? He goes, oh, Aiden English is attacking Rusev. In the same tone of voice that he called the moves during the match that just took place. So, and then Corey Graves adds in, why? Byron Sex Addict stays silent. I'm just like, wow. You just completely ruined this whole heel turn of Aiden English. You just completely botched this whole thing by just sounding so totally unenthused. I mean, holy shit. I mean, Tom Phillips, it sounded like nothing out of the ordinary was happening here. They're trying to tell a story, and it sounds like he's trying to order a sandwich at the fucking deli. I mean, why does he have this job? I'm talking about Mauro Ranallo on NXT calling developmental matches. He's getting out of his chair, Mamma Mia, getting all excited and talking at the top of his lungs. He's having the time of his life out there. And Tom Phillips, who's probably making oodles of fucking money, and he's just completely bored out there. There's a heel turn happening. I could only imagine JR. He would have been like, oh my god, what is Aiden doing? This is a heinous act, and then you've got this now, the 2018 announce team, and they're just completely just unmotivated, just completely lazy, laid back, nonchalant. And I'm just like, how can you just see this happening on TV and just for a few moments you can't just get out of that monotone and just sound like you're shocked or taken aback by the actions that are happening? I mean, why do you even write the storyline? If the announcers are not interested in it, why should I be? I mean, Tom Phillips, man. I mean, I'm going to come out and say it. He fucking sucks as an announcer. He's terrible. I mean, he is the Seth Rollins of announcing. I mean, he's just a complete bore to listen to. He's got a great voice. He's got an announcer style voice, but the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I'm just saying, why is Mauro Ranallo not out there? What a waste. JR is still capable of calling matches. You're going to let the man podcast? The King, what is he doing? I mean, you know, make an offer to Joey Styles or some shit to come back. Forgot, but you can even put Heyman back on commentary. Somebody. I'm even begging for JBL to come back at this rate. It's all about having fun, Moggle. I even prefer that at this point. I mean, seriously, it's like you might complain about stuff, but you don't even know, what you got until it's gone. It's like the old expression goes. I mean, because this right now, what we have, this is truly terrible. This is truly awful. This is truly uninspired. This is just cringeworthy to listen to. AJ Styles defeated Andrade Cien Almas. That was a pretty cool little finish with the roll up into the Styles Clash. But like, what are we doing here with Almas? And right after the match, it just quickly switches to Samoa Joe, and we're gonna have a rematch with them at the Superstar Showdown. So, I don't know what to tell you here. It's like, so they bring Almas onto the main roster. What are they doing with the guy? Any storyline? Any feud? He's switching from he's involved in the feud with Daniel Bryan, but now he's not even associating with Daniel Bryan this week. It's just having a match with AJ for whatever reason. And, he pulled the Del Rio. The same thing, that same stupid, retarded looking spot where here's AJ on the outside. Oh, I'm going to hold on to the ropes as you stomp on my chest. What a stupid looking move. What is it with, this current, ROH style that they've been going to accommodate to the Smarks? I'm like, I used to be a fan of this style, until I realized that every match was basically laid out in the same way. It just looks completely ridiculous. And AJ is trying to really steady himself, waiting for that shot right there off the ropes, and I'm just just do a different move or something. I mean, what a fucking mess. I cannot sit through another AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe match, guys. This is just, it's going on forever. Every single feud that he has over the title with another wrestler, it's he has to have 4 or 5 matches with them. I mean, you guys want to complain about Brock and Roman Reigns, even though the match was 2 years apart. And 3 years apart even. And you want to complain about that, but I don't hear anybody complaining about how many times AJ and Samoa. This is so boring. Their match at Hell in the Cell was a total snooze fest. I mean, what? I'm watching this and I'm just when will it end? I had to fast forward to it. I had no choice. I mean, I wouldn't be able to watch it. I'd have to probably rewind it 5-10 times to be able to get through it. Asuka defeated Billie Kay. Okay, so let's talk about something here about Tom Phillips, something he said during the match, and this is not something on his own volition. It's probably Vince McMahon feeding it through the headsets. So he says that the Iconics have been a thorn in Asuka's side. Okay, so she just returned two weeks ago. Alright? And so she got involved to help out Naomi. So how is that the Iconics being a thorn in Asuka's side? She only came out to attack him one time, had a little backstage segment, and then that was basically it. So that's not really being a thorn in anybody. So I'm just saying, they're just creating storylines out of thin air without investing any time in them to have it the proper build. It's just oh yeah, they're in a feud. They're a thorn in her side. Okay, even though they haven't really associated with each other that much since Asuka returned. And finally, in the main event, it was Becky Lynch and Charlotte. It was the coronation for Becky. And I don't get this. If Becky's supposed to be a heel, why is, Paige is congratulating Becky? She's all happy for her and everything, so it's like, normally the GM, the babyface GM, that's, Paige, she wouldn't be out there. Remember when it was the coronation for Carmella? Paige didn't come out there and congratulate her and everything. So it's like they're treating her still like a babyface, even though she's supposed to be a heel. Oh yeah, that's right. She's Stone Cold Becky Lynch. I still don't get that name. It's like they want to make her like a tweener, I suppose. But, I'm just not really understanding it. I don't get this. It's like, so they didn't do a double turn. Charlotte's supposed to still be the face. Becky is the one acting like an asshole. So to me, it's like I'm sitting there and everyone's like, oh, Charlotte took away her opportunity. It's fake, guys. It's fake. So, you're applying this real life thing to it, and it's like, it's not a shoot. It's still kayfabe. You're just falling for it, being total marks for this shit. I don't get it. I'm not knocking Becky. She's a great talent, and I think she's playing this role well, whatever it is. She's coming across well. I think it's well produced, but I'm not really understanding how they're treating the character. Paige is out there congratulating her like she's a baby face, even though she's supposed to be this tweener character. It's like, what is she supposed to be? You tell me what she's supposed to be. You tell me how I'm supposed to process this. What am I supposed to think when I watch something like this? No one can tell me. I don't see it in the comments or anything. It's just, Stone Cold Becky Lynch, okay? All right. At one point, we were told that Dean Ambrose was the new Stone Cold. I'm still waiting for that one to hold true to the claim. So there you go, guys. I mean, there's your SmackDown. I mean, I was completely bored. All right, there was a moment there. You had what's his name? Aiden English attacking Rusev. I mean, but they never won tag titles. They completely botched that team as it was. And then Tom Phillips furthers the botch fest by completely just miscalling the whole thing. Oh, he's attacking him like it's just like a match. It's like, no, this is supposed to be a crucial moment. It's supposed to be a turning point. English is attacking his partner. You're supposed to be appalled at these actions because they're supposed to be friends. No appalled. No, just condemning it or anything like that. It's just like, oh, this is what's happening. Just, calling it like he's forecasting the fucking weather or something. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys, but, just, this is WWE for you nowadays. This is the show that Fox is paying $1 billion for. Money well spent, right? I mean, wow. I mean, what a bargain here. This is how you want to spend your money, right? Just, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't spend $2 billion on it. I mean, what a show. What a fantastic show. I mean, look how eventful it was. Look how the people calling the matches are so into it. Oh, what an exciting fucking show. What a fucking joke. Show's a joke. It is. It's like they want to have a show, and it's like they don't even care what they put on it. If they did, the show would be completely different. We'd be looking at a complete 180. We'd be looking at a whole different show if they actually gave a fuck, like they used to back in the day. But they don't anymore, and, this is just what we got. This is the show. This is SmackDown. This is SmackDown Live. It's live now. If anything, it's gotten worse. The only reason why, I still review this show is because you've got wrestlers exclusive to this brand, to this show. So, when people want to see it reviewed, because, I mean, it's it's almost important as Raw. People claim it's better than Raw. I totally beg to differ. I think it's fucking worse. Even though it's shorter than Raw, I can't believe that it's actually worse. And it is. Anyway, guys, there you go. So, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, guys. You know, I usually just say subscribe, but make sure that you still are subscribed, because YouTube loves to do that. They love to just unsubscribe you for no reason. Probably no fault of their own or whatever it may be, but, you know, sometimes that happens. Check it out. See if you're still subscribed. It might be why you're not seeing my videos anymore. You can also click the bell to get notifications when all my new videos come out. And you can check out some of the videos I have posted here for some additional content, motherfuckers. Anyway, this has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.